Good morning, everybody. Hold on 1 second and we will get right to it. Hey guys, can you hear me? Hold on 1 second. Let me see if this will work. I just lost power. Like literally as I just booted up. It's like if you ever want to leave the country, just move to Miami. It's unbelievable. Like trying to get this crap going, man. It's just nuts in the morning. It's literally always something here. It's like it's insanely frustrating. Let me find out where that chart is so I have the right chart. Hold on 1 second, guys. Like literally, I booted everything up, and then all of a sudden, it's like bam, and like the power goes out for the whole place. Yeah, I just need that to go away. I need you to go away, and see if we can get this back up and running. And good, and that's working. That's working. All right, maybe that's a sign. Sometimes weight's too great. You just got to give it up to Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. All right, let's go. WBD has come out and said, no, they're not interested with Paramount. I think he's just trying to play the ego more than anything. If I was Ellison, I would literally just go completely away and then, offer it to shareholders, and then kind of go from there. I wouldn't even be talking to them anymore. I would just go to the shareholders and see if you can get it through the shareholders or start buying the stock in the open market. One or the other. But I think they're going to have to go hostile with it. I really do. I think that's where it's heading. If we take a look at how this is setting up on the ES, you finally are making that higher high. This is exactly what you're looking for. I can't stress that enough. It's literally what you're looking for. So keep that in mind. From my perspective, it makes a tremendous amount of sense. So It's really what you're looking for. Like I mean, we've been waiting for this to happen, and it's finally happening. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's actually really good overall for the market. So, we just want to keep our eye on this. I don't think there's a whole lot to do about it, frankly. I think you just let it play itself out. Friday is going to be absolutely huge. But if we drop this down here and look at this from a 5-minute perspective, I do think there's some things here that you could learn where you are now holding that very specific area. I would also think that it makes sense at this point, while you just started, to go to that Thursday at there and just drop a VWAP, just to look at that and understand that you've never been below 2026. And I think that's really important. You've never been there. Now, if you go back here and we go to the top now, the other thing that is really good too is not one of these peaks, not one now, are you even dealing with. So like none of them are a problem anymore, like none of them. So nothing on the bottom, you have nothing but support underneath of you. I think that's very important for us to get. If we went and took a look at this from a perspective of the fib levels, and we come to there and we go to the swing low, which is right here, you're above that 78.6 and you're sitting right there. So I definitely think there's something to it for sure. Now, if I drop that into a 5, and then we look at it from here. Thanks, John. Let me just swing this down a little bit here and then we'll get to it. You can see where your key level would be. So if we just open that up from here, I think that's really how you should be looking at the market today. You are above that key level. So if you break it, you're going to break this too. And you start getting a 7 handle. And I think you have some people that are going to panic. Now, a lot of people are looking at what's supposed to happen. Let me just make sure this thing didn't jump mics. Yep, we seem to be good. And we're good there too. Good. Now, a lot of people are worried about the, some of the other stuff here. A lot of people are worried about, what happens on Friday with tariffs, non-farm payrolls. I mean, it's like it gets to a point where everything gets washed out. And if you see what I mean by that, like the ADP came in worse than expected, and the market's going higher. So I think that's what you're dealing with today, that kind of nonsense. I actually think you should be looking at, dips as being a net buyer now until things change. You had a major geopolitical event and anything can change on that, but I would definitely pay attention to it. So, I just think that it's very important to get that. And yeah, there are those levels and I do think you should pay attention to them, but overall, it's pretty clean where those levels are here. I mean, I don't think that anyone would look at that and say that, oh no, those levels are not, not something you should be looking at. No, 100%. I definitely think you should be paying attention to those, hands down. So we'll go from there and we'll take a look at it. But in regards to the NQ, we start over again and go to the 4-hour right here. Clean off all our levels. It's still tighter and you're nowhere near as strong. And if you look at this, you can see those levels pretty clearly, like what you're fighting. It's the same thing over and over again. Pure bonk level, you're trying to get over it. You have a shot today, I think, of actually getting over that. But, we'll see how that goes. But I do think you have a shot at it, of that actually happening. What I think is most important about it over everything is if we can actually do it and then close over a higher high. So let's say some of this stuff down here, I was hoping that the point of control would drop. It's just not. You're not spending enough time down anywhere. So, we're still dealing with the battle of this. If we were to take this and now drop this into, let's overlay this with fibs because you'll see the difference pretty clean. Can't miss the difference. So here's 78 and here's 61. So you can see you're kind of wedged in there with both. Drop that down to a 5 and You can see your levels really clearly here, and open that up. And it's really not that hard to see what you're looking at and what you're focused on, right? And that's how I would pay attention to it today. I think that's the best way that you can pay attention to it today. I would just look at this for a second. And so this is a function that you guys might want to consider using. So you just go here and you look at the session volume profile. And so what this will show you is like they'll show you the volume profile of every single day. And you can see since Friday, January 2nd, right, when you had this huge range, what happened? Well, the next one you closed under, and then here's your point of control, and then here's your point of control. So they're still going higher. Usually if these are going higher, you're going higher. Like if these are like a stair step, you're going up. When it starts to flip, like it did in here, like you're stepping up, and then it starts to flip over, it usually means that you're in something like that. And usually what you do too is like if you ever see them inside, which you got here, it usually means the next day is going to be pretty wicked. So, tomorrow's gearing up to be pretty wicked. Now you get that move. And then of course you're going to get everything you get on starting the beginning of the year, but you can't miss the stair steps. And when you look at them, it's pretty obvious, right? Like this day you shouldn't be thinking that you're going down. This day you shouldn't be thinking you're going up, that kind of thing. And you can't really miss them when you say it. So right now, the reason I'm bringing it up is if you take a look at what's going on, you're still stair stepping up from January over. Every day has been a stair step up. So we are making progress. And I think that's an important distinction out there. As far as names, God, man, there's so many names to go over. It's not even funny. So, I don't even know where to start. I mean, there's just so many. What do I think super interesting out there that we could start with? I thought it was pretty fascinating that these names are bidding down and that you're not seeing that fervor and follow through. I think that's pretty interesting for like the Microns and the SanDisks of the world. If they were truly blow off tops, you would have walked into a blow off top. You definitely wouldn't be staring at these. My legs are killing me. You definitely wouldn't be staring at like them bidding down. They would have actually done that already. So like the Microns, the SanDisks, the Seagates, the fact that they're bidding down, like, oh no, retail, it's time for you to panic. Yeah, I think it's a really good sign for those names today. So I would definitely be watching those. ASTS was downgraded to virtually a sell today. And I think that's really interesting. They said Starlink's just going to kick its butt. Okay. But I think that they have, completely different models and completely different things that they're doing. So, I don't know. I get the valuation, but, that's the way that this stuff goes. And I don't know that they're wrong in their thinking here with this company. So I also don't know they're right. But it just seems like a dumb reason to cut the stock. It seemed like he waited for the stock to get up there and then, I'm going to downgrade it now. The logic doesn't make any sense because hasn't Starlink been a problem the whole time? So like, why are they a problem now? So if you did it on valuation, it's something, but that's not what they did. So I think that's important. I do think you'll get buyers on this. Another thing I thought was super interesting was here's UVX. Came all the way back down. I mean, they're going to get it just made zero sense to me. I guess everyone's starting to pick up on that too. I don't know. It just made zero sense. Like, wait a minute, now you're gonna have access to billions of dollars that you lost again, and you're right back to where you were before this happened. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see how that plays out. But what else is super interesting on the day? People are panicking because Rocket Labs, the guy sold some shares to CFO. It's like the dumbest reason to sell your stock because somebody else did. You have no idea what's going on in that guy's head or why he's doing what he's doing. IWM definitely is something you guys need to be paying attention to. They're leading, and I bought this the other day, and it's just been a straight out monster since I bought it. Nothing for me to do with it. Just sit back and just watch it work. And it probably continues to go a lot higher. So nothing really to do there. And I'm trying to think what else there's so much going on that I'm trying to figure out, like, what are the big things. Tesla, because there's I must have 30 events this morning again. I didn't have like Jensen throwing them under the bus on my bingo card, but here we are. So, they looked like they were going to be cool together, but apparently not. Okay, just lost power again. It's like as soon as I touch this thing's shorting out. The desk is shorting out. Okay, so we have to figure out what the problem is. The problem is that the problem? Are you still hearing me, or did I lose you guys again? Cool. Cool. I'm just waiting for it to load in, guys. So give me a second here, and then I don't need you to do that. I need you to go to. I know it's all gone. Everything's gone. I know. Are we back? Can you hear me? It's like living in a freaking third world country today. It's unbelievable. It actually gets really old, dude. Like, gets really freaking old. Okay. And then they loaded this back in. It didn't end this. So let me do that. Hold on. It jumped in. It reloaded another. Jesus God, this little nightmare. Hold on. All right, let's try this one more time. All right. All right, good. We're good, I think. Let's say maybe, hopefully. U.S. secures Russian-flagged tanker. This is getting fun. What else did I want to go over? Let's take questions with the time that we have. I do think that the ASTS is interesting. I didn't have him getting thrown under the bus on my bingo card. I was very surprised by that. I guess he really didn't throw him under the bus, some people would say, but it really felt like that to me. So, we'll see how this goes. I just see one more thing. This thing with Ukraine's fascinating. All these countries some countries saying, yes, we'll give troops, other countries saying no. Give me 1 second. Spotify's opening up a Hollywood studio. How's that going over? Okay. Let's take questions with the time that we have together. And hopefully we don't lose power again. Spy looking, 26 strong pattern, silver miners. I actually think that these names like CDE, HL, like them bidding down today. It almost makes them like a no-brainer, to be candid. I don't see how this doesn't keep going, especially like the miners. Like I just don't see it. You know, our relations out there are not going to get better. They're going to get worse. I mean, I think people have to see that. Like, this is going to be untenable to think that China is going to open up their silver now, nor Russia, compared to what just happened in Venezuela. And I knew that there were inroads. I didn't know it was that as linked as it is. So when I see something like that, yeah, I mean, like this to me with HL, when you look at something like an HL right now, and you go all the way back and you're like, well, where can this thing go? Like they can go, like they can really go and they can stay there for a long time. So I do think that when I look at names like this, you see these breakouts and then you're coming in half on that breakout already. Like that's actually, you know, perfect. I mean, this is really what you want on days like this. Like you get the breakout and then you come back to about half of it. That's really what you're looking for. You're seeing that here too with like these kinds of names. So the question is, do we think it's over? Far from it, man. Like I don't see how this is over, but, and I also think it's so interesting when you look at like something like CDE and you're like, you're not even back to where we were previously. So I do think there's some stuff here that makes a lot of sense. The AGQ to me, you know, from a trader standpoint, makes a lot more sense. Until we're like swimming in world peace right now, which I just don't see. I just see more escalation. And I don't know, did they increase the margin requirements last night again? I don't know if they did or not. But that kind of stuff, like HL, that you're coming down into the middle of that bar, like that's what you're looking for, that kind of stuff. So yeah, John, I like that a lot. It's definitely on my radar, and it's certainly something that I'd be paying attention to. So, you know, definitely. In regards to like W and RH, I mean, there's no tariffs now on this stuff, on their products anymore, right? So we know that. Okay. So there's no tariffs on those products anymore. All right, great. What else do we know? Well, we know there's no tariffs on those products. All right. What else? Well, we know that, you know, you have this court case, and everyone assumes Friday they're going to get an answer. Never assume. They don't have to give an answer on Friday. They have an opinion day on Friday. There's also another court case they're supposed to hear on Friday. And I don't know that they're going to hear that. So, you know, it's definitely something where, you know, we have to see. I don't know that we're going to hear that or not. So we have to really pay attention to that and see if that's coming. I don't have a clue. And unless you're a district judge or clerking for a Supreme Court justice, no one has a clue. So, but I can see why people would buy these names, and they're buying the hell out of retail, right? Excuse the language. I'm so annoyed with my electricity today. I heard that from people that live in like, I have friends that moved to Puerto Rico for like tax reasons and trading, but they're, you know, when you talk to them about what it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth the trade-off just for taxes. I can see the lifestyle though, like living on an island might be nice. The cup, the handle, I'm a little teapot, short and stout, sip. So those names are really rocking. And I would definitely look at those 100%. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It shows me everybody sharing the videos more, like the Wednesday night video. Tonight will be a completely different topic. Wednesday night's going to be, we're going to just call it the strength report. I'll show you like the 3 names that are just looking the strongest to me on the market. And, we'll go from there. But I think that'll be super helpful on Wednesdays, Thursday. And then on Saturdays, we're going to keep doing those deep dives. And Thursdays, I really like to start turning into an education. So I'm getting there with the whole like roadmap of my media empire. Anyway, if you take a look at this, I like this name a lot. I don't really understand why it's not up more. I think when they get the CEO, it'll be up more. It really becomes a question of like, what names do you want to buy? I was actually laughing like, oh, Tim Cook's buying, making fun of him because like he's buying it down here. He bought like 1 million shares down here. Like, oh, why are you doing that? Okay. Meanwhile, he's up 10% of his money. As I make jokes. I wonder, it makes you wonder about like Nike. Like, is that the bottom when these tariffs go away? And no one knows how that's going to go. But Robert's calling them, a tax was pretty much all you needed to really see. I think a lot of people felt that way, but you never know, man. You never know how this stuff's going to go. MNTS UA. So MNTS, let's take a look. No, is that? I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't have a clue what this is. I don't know. No. I own this, so I'm going to be biased. I think anytime somebody gets appointed to the board, whenever somebody takes a stake and they get appointed to the board, if you're not looking at what they're doing, it's a mistake. If you're not looking at what they're doing, it's a mistake. And I really can't stress that enough, that when something like this happens, you always want to look at what they're doing. What did he do? He bought more. He didn't buy less. He bought more. The more he looked into the company, he bought more. Then he bought more. So he started what? On the 10th with how much? December 10th with 6%. In 30 days, he's up to 22% of the company. So it tells you where his head is. And I don't think there's much more to say or to do about it than that. Let's go through some of these other names and just look at how this is shaping up this morning. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this plays out, but that's kind of where my head is. I like it. AA, I like a lot. Anything like this, and you're probably going to be down today, but that one, it's pretty overextended. I just look at some of these names, like everybody wanted to be in them yesterday, and you think that's over because they're bidding down. Now, I haven't had time to look into it. I don't know if there was a, I don't know if there was a, what do you call it or not, a, another margin requirement. If there was another margin requirement where they did that, then yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to see it sell off today because they're going to have to de-risk again. But I'm not so sure that happened. Yeah, they seized an oil tanker. Greetings from Japan will benefit Venezuela's people. Well, they're giving the oil back to Venezuela. Okay. I don't know. I would think the market would get smoked on this. Doesn't really seem to be. It reminds me a lot of 1998. They did this when Russia defaulted on their debt. Japan, PSCI, small cap industrials. I think anything in this space, PSCT, I think anything in this space you should be looking at. I think anything in that space you should be really focused on this. I think that IWM is going to outperform. I really do believe that you're in the mid to late 90s. Like, I think that that's kind of where you're at. And this is nothing compared to what that was like. So, but it does remind me of that cycle. Just a little different. You know, a lot of these companies don't really have to go to market to get anywhere. Like, they don't really seem to have to go to like become public companies anymore. I think that's a huge mistake because you can't really see the books anymore, which is what they really want. Like, nobody wants to really see OpenAI's books, right? You know, I think that's one of the reasons the rumor is that they're going to go out there and buy this company. One of the rumors floating out there is they're going to go out and buy pins. So I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to do that or not. 1 second here. What's doing that? Oh, I don't really care about that, right? Or this. Yeah. Okay, cool. What's going on, Kev? I feel like I jumped over him. I want to go through this. I think anything industrials makes a lot of sense here. I don't know if that's the one, but I think that space makes a lot of sense. I really do. I think that space makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people missed yesterday, and now they're going to be glad that they missed yesterday when they came in and watching some of this stuff bid down. And I do think that when you have like some of this escalation, it does become concerning. I would just be on the other side of that. I'd be really careful thinking that we're definitely going to fall apart or that we're definitely going to rally. I would just keep trading it and understand that there's massive geopolitical risk to this market right now. And let me just see if I can find this thing. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Perfect. So there's massive geopolitical risk right now. So what's up, Tariq? Yeah, small caps look great. I'm not a big fan of these trades. These are like trades you just buy and you just kind of sit with when they hit a certain level. Reminds me of like Vici. You just wait for them to like completely, utterly break down one day, and then they'll be out there like buying. You know, that's really what you try and do with them. But Warner chairman says companies open to deal with Paramount. Warner Discovery chairman said on CNBC, there's nothing further from the truth, nothing to be further from the truth that claims that Warner opposed to any agreement with Paramount no matter the terms. We would very open to a transit Paramount. His financing is an amazing step, but the linear TV business and financial markets could look very different at the time of closing. There are paths. The questions are, how can they give us certain that they will close? That's interesting. What's Warner Brothers doing on that? Someone's going to raise their offer. Did oil spike on this? They're not going to let oil out of Venezuela. So how the heck are you not spiking? Doesn't make any sense, right? All right, let's get to it. I think small caps are the way to go. I think you just want to get through Friday. You know, I feel like for the past 2 months, I've been just telling people to get through certain days. Just wait till you get through this day. Just wait till you get through that day. Honestly, when I look at this, they got rid of Hardball, huh? Oh, you might see Alaska Air. You might see Boeing pop here. Yep, Boeing's going to pop on that. Boeing just bought Alaska Air, just buying a bunch of planes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to pop on that. Alaska Air is buying, hold on, 110 aircraft. So you're going to pop on that. Let's see what we do here. Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Hmm. Yeah, you'll move on that, I think. That's kind of crazy. That's a lot of planes, man. I think you'll go on that. Largest airplane order in airlines history. You should jump on that. You should go up a lot more than that.
Order cancelled.
Like a lot more. But we'll see what happens there. Surprised it's not up more, honestly. I thought it would be. I thought it'd jump a lot more than that, but I'll take it. When people start to realize what just happened, I think it can move.
Order filled.
A second, guys. Sorry. Gotta make money. I don't like that. I like that.
Order cancelled. Order filled.
Yep. Trimmed it. I like that.
cancel.
All right. Sorry, guys. I think it should go. Really thought we'd go a lot higher on that. Like a lot higher, but we'll see what it does here. What's up, Mon? NM arrived within 15 minutes left yesterday. I don't know anything about the data. I don't know. I couldn't even comment on that. KTOS, I think that whole space looks like it's on fire. I think you need to be super careful about chasing anything, but I do think that that space looks absolutely fantastic. If I had to tell you the sector to focus on today more than anything, it's definitely going to be the, oh boy, hold on. What the hell's going on here? Okay. If I tell you the sector to focus on more than anything, it's definitely going to be retail more than anything. That's the one I'd be paying attention to. Let's go take a look at this. See what you're doing. All right. What is that? What is happening there? Do it. Come on. You know you want to. All the cool kids are. Feels like they're putting a lot of pressure on this market early on, which is always a good sign for that the market's going to bounce. I'm not looking at just buying, but the whole market in and of itself. Like they're trying to just like smoke everything. Like here's Micron down 10. Here's SanDisk down 10. You guys better get out. You better panic. Okay.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
I think you want to trade them. I don't know that you have to like the world on fire with them. ON. I don't know anything about ON. I really wasn't looking at that one yesterday. I gotta go. I'm super late. I can't keep being this late. It gets me so far behind. I actually was thinking that you were talking about this name. I don't know what this does. I think someone was trying to explain it to me yesterday. I will say this: you're setting up here big time. That's setting up big time. What's up, Journal? Kona, I like a lot. Kona's great coffee. What's up, Dexter? Woodlands are beautiful. I have family there. They're all moving here, though, aren't they? I think they just move here for tax purposes and then just go home. It's crazy. It's like all of a sudden it just goes out. It's just nuts. I'm just go through this quick. I think Bitcoin has issues. Yeah, just crazy. Hi, Grace. Yeah, that is Bella One. That's exactly what the name of it is. That's exactly what it was. I think rare earths are more going to be the issue. Let me just make sure something just jumped. I think rare earths to me is more about. I think rare earth to me is more about the relationship with China and Russia than anything. I really feel that way. Good to see you, Grace. I like those names a lot. I actually was wanting, someone got mad at me yesterday, very angry because I was cheering that LEU was dropping in today. They got so angry. So mad at me. Because I wanted to buy it because they own it. But I think that this is exactly what you're looking for. So, you know, let's say, now we have a doji, we have volume coming in. It's really what you're looking for. I'm not interested in the squeeze. I don't think there's I think it's there. You know, I don't have an opinion on it because I don't know it. I know the guys in the room are whacking this one around. They've been whacking it around for 13, 14 bucks. Even down here, they were playing with it. I don't know the story. I truly don't. So I'm not the right person to ask. I could tell you technically that you didn't participate the same way that Rocket Labs did yesterday, or ASTS, which I think, you know, is going to be a monster. But what do I know? KKR to invest $1 billion in. All right. Yeah, that's a monster trade, dude. That's just going to be a monster trade. I think any of these names like ANF and AEO, I mean, as long as they don't uphold those tariffs, those things will get smoked. Now they're buying Boeing. Good morning from Jersey. Good morning from Miami. At least you got power. I thought this deal was pretty interesting. The data center deal. Apparently I was like the only one that like thought it was super interesting. And then, you know, it started getting whacked around. So I just walked away. You know, with EKSO, I thought it was really interesting, but no one else thought so. So what do I know? I thought CVX had a really nice shot at bouncing. I really don't understand why. I truly couldn't understand, like, why did you go all the way back down? You're going to get access to billions of dollars that you lost. I got jump, guys. Trade to win. Make good choices.